Hey, what's happening? This is Jerry here over at Wealth Dynamics, coming at you live with a video today with one simple question. Do you have the mental toughness required to build wealth? Odd question, right? Because we've all been to conferences where wealth is easy and it's romanticized. And, it's this thing where all you've got to do is learn this simple system or this little life hack or this little thing. And if you learn this thing, you can be wealthy. Okay, that's great and it sounds awesome, but guys, the reality is this. We have what's called the top 1%, which means 99% of America does not get there. So it's not just simple, there's actually something that's required beyond what most people think. So I want you to think logically, like just super simple, right? A, most people would understand that you need to gain, knowledge and education about money in order to be wealthy. That's something we can all grasp. It's not new information. You'd be like, all right, yeah, it makes sense. I would need to study. Okay, so it could be education, but that's actually something we can easily solve. Okay, B, you need to make more money. I had a consultation with a guy yesterday, and the entire time he's like, dude, I just need to make more money. I just need to make more money. He knew that he needed to make more money. So it was not a surprise that he's not earning enough income. You already experienced that. Friday rolls around every 2 weeks, right? You're terrified. You're like, man, how am I gonna make rent happen? Do I have enough money for groceries? Do I have enough for the car payment? You can't travel. You can't do all the stuff you wanna do. So you already know that you need to make more money. Now, doesn't mean it's not a problem, but it means that you're already aware that it is something that exists. Okay, savings. We have one of the lowest savings rates in the world. Okay, we already know that. You already know you don't save enough money. So what I'm talking about is when you handle all of these issues and people are aware that they are issues and that there are ways to solve these issues, it still comes down to the fact that some people ain't gonna study. Some people are not gonna increase their income. Some people, they're not gonna save more money, even though they know it's a good idea. Why is that? And I wanna propose what I believe to be the solution and what I believe to be the answer. Some individuals do not have the mental toughness required to build wealth. Okay, some individuals do not have the mental capability, the toughness, the hardness to actually make it happen. And this isn't a popular message because, again, you go to these conferences and they're like, dude, anyone could do it. There's always a rags to riches story about, yeah, all you've got to do is this. If I could do it, you could do it. Simple system, plug in, wholesale houses, do it on Shopify, do it on ClickFunnels, do it with mutual funds, do it with IRAs, do it with life insurance, do it with real estate. Yeah, but why aren't you? If there's all these ways, what's the thing separating it? I believe that thing that separates it from actually happening is mental toughness. Okay, because the fact is this, everyone has a threshold where when you're pushing for wealth and you actually start seeing success, you're going to come to a cross in the road, a fork. I'm comfortable and I'm happy and I could stop now, or I'm gonna keep going. Again, we have a top 1%, not a top 80%, not even a top 20%, we have a top 1%. Which means that 99% of people either don't even get to that fork in the road, or when they do, the majority of them choose to quit. Why is that? Mental toughness, guys. And here's what I want to explain with this. With the mental toughness thing, I think most people believe that wealth equals comfort. I think most people believe wealth equals I'm good, I'm comfortable, I can do whatever I want, and then that's awesome. But the fact is, guys, that comfort means you're gonna quit. And that's not wealth. Okay, wealth means unrestricted. Unrestricted means that there's nothing holding you back and there's nothing preventing you from going forward. Quitting would put you in a position where there's something preventing you from going forward. That boundary line is called comfort, which by definition is not wealth because you can't go forward, you're comfortable. You stop. Okay, if you stopped, it wasn't wealth. If you kept going, it was wealth because that's true abundance, right? As soon as you stop, you make it finite. Now there's only a certain pool you can pull from and you will run out at some point. Okay, so here's what I want to break down real quick. If you're looking at this and you're like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. That sounds like it's too much. I don't need all that. I'm good. I'm happy. All these identities you might start pulling out. It comes down to one question. What type of person are you? Okay, are you the type of person that you're living your entire life just to take care of yourself? Or are you the person that's living their entire life to find out what they're capable of? Okay, those that push it and go to the top 1% and really drive and make it happen, they're not pushing just to take care of themselves. Their needs were met billions of dollars ago. Look at Jeff Bezos, right? Love him or hate him, the guy was taken care of probably at the multi-million-dollar mark. He would have been fine for the rest of his life. What makes somebody say, I'm going to take it to $1 billion? It's not just them. At a certain point, that guy's covered. It's not even just his family. At a certain point, his family is covered. Why would you go that far? And you can have a lot of different reasons or presumptions of why that would happen, but I believe that the people that go that far are chasing their potential. They're looking at, what am I capable of? And those that are comfortable, and this is going to sting a little bit, ultimately are selfish. And hear me out on this. If you're like, I'm good, what's the common denominator in there? I'm happy. What's the common denominator there? I don't need all that. What's the common denominator there? That's selfish, guys. So when you're like, man, I'm trying to build wealth, you're not going to do it if you don't have a reason that's bigger than yourself. You've got to have a goal that's bigger than you, that you'll probably never actually achieve in your lifetime, but it engages all of you to keep going even though you can't achieve it. And then you've got to have a really strong reason why that's your goal. And those things are going to push you to build wealth. And you might be watching this and you're like, yeah, well, it's not just about me. I want to care for my family. Okay, I hear a lot of that too. Like, I'm in this for my family, and you should be. Like, that's the ethical thing to do. You should take care of your family. But again, why does that matter to you? It's not that it's your family, it's that it's your family. It's I'm involved. It matters to me. That's why I'm doing it. It's still a selfish reason. Guys, there's 7 billion people on the planet. You can't tell me that your life is centered around 5 or 10 people. And if it is, that's not going to be a very fulfilling life. Those people are going to grow up, they're going to die, they're going to move on, you're going to be mad at them sometimes. You've got to be past, I'm doing this for my kids, I'm doing this for my mom, I'm doing this for my dad. Those people won't be there to push you. You've got to do it because you're chasing your potential. And you won't do it if you don't have the mental toughness to push through. Okay, that's what I'm saying here, guys. People give up. They either get bored, which means they're mentally weak, they get distracted, or they get discouraged, which means when an obstacle comes up, their why and their goal is not big enough usually to help them push through. So I want to give you a couple ways to solve for this. So I already hit 2 of them, right? Number 1, you have to have a massive goal. And it can't just be rhetoric, something you're repeating from somebody else. It needs to be your goal, right? So if you're like, man, my goal is to have $1 million. You didn't come up with that organically. You heard that from somebody else. That's not a meaningful goal. Or my goal is to retire. You heard that in an HR meeting. That's not actually your goal. My goal is to own a home. That's just what your neighbor said. You're just copying them. That's not your goal. What is your actual goal? And if you want to know, like, how do I know if this is actually my goal? You need to ask yourself, why is that my goal? And if you can't justify in a dynamic way as to why that's your goal, that's probably not a real goal. Okay, so you need to have those 2 bases covered. You also need to have something bigger than you. This kind of goes into the goal. The goal can't just be care for my family. It needs to be bigger than you, because at the end of the day, if you're going to be wealthy, that means there has to be abundance, which means it's not just you and your 3 kids and your wife. It's more than that, right? Now, the last thing I want to add is you have to intentionally add danger to your environment on purpose. And you heard me right, guys. You have to intentionally add danger to your environment. You have to purposefully look at, all right, if I'm trying to build wealth, I know that comfort is going to be an obstacle that I will face. And so I'm going to predict ahead of time and add something to my environment that puts me at risk. It's a threat. And it disallows me to actually succumb to comfort. Okay, most people don't like that. They want comfort. But at the end of the day, guys, you're never going to not have problems. You will always have an obstacle. You will always have a challenge. You're never done. Like, people have this attitude that if they keep running hard enough and they get to the top where they feel like they're winning, that's the pinnacle and they can stop. Guys, there's no stopping with life. Realize when you stop in life, that's called being dead. All right, so you've got to look at, all right, I'm going to have problems for the rest of my life. Why don't I pick them on purpose? A, that does give me control over it. I'm responsible now. But B, it kills comfort, because now I can't be comfortable. There's this imposing threat all the time. Okay, so if you're trying to build wealth, I want you to realize it will require mental toughness. It's going to be a lot more mental toughness than I can't because I have kids. I can't because I'm married. I can't because I don't have time. Like, if those are the excuses you're throwing up, just quit now. And I know that's hard to hear, but if you're going to quit because you don't have time, like, you might as well give up today. You have to have more mental toughness than that. What about when you get over the time thing and someone in your family gets cancer? Okay, problems of comparable magnitude, that's way worse. So if you're quitting just because you don't have time, or because you have kids, or because you're busy, or because money is evil, or whatever your reason is, that's evidence that what I'm saying is true, which is you do not have the mental toughness to build wealth. You can't be soft on yourself. You have to intentionally be hard and push and do the hard things on purpose so that you can build wealth. And when you do that, it's possible, and you get to the top 1%. When you don't, you're going to be one of those people that never even gets to the fork in the road, or when they get there, they quit because they're comfortable, they're happy, and you begin justifying why that's okay. So guys, I wanted to share that tonight. I'm going to go ahead and have my team drop a link in the comments. So Lexi's going to paste an article in the comments here for you to read. I wrote this article for you to be able to jump into the exact content that we went through today. Make sure that if you liked this video, you share it, subscribe, check out my YouTube channel, my Instagram, my Facebook, @Jerry Fetta. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day. I'll talk to y'all soon.